the requirement, the logical requirement of the issue, and I think if we can establish it philosophically, then of course not only Islam but any other religion should and has to subscribe to it, should coordinate itself with this idea. And in a pluralistic world, we have to be a pluralistic Muslims or pluralistic Christians, in the sense that we have to respect other religions and we have to be tolerant towards them, and we have to think that it is the duty of the Christians who think that Christianity is still a valid religion to be Christians. It is the duty, not only the right of the Christians, but the duty of Christians who find Christianity a valid religion to continue their Christianity and to be Christians so long as they think that Christianity is a valid religion. It is the duty of Muslims to remain Muslims, to stay Muslims, so long as they think that Islam is a valid religion. And the validity of religion, of Christianity, and the validity of Islam, and validity of Judaism, and all other religions are not inconsistent facts in a philosophical sense of the word. They are quite compatible, and it is not only the right but their religious duty to stay as they are so long as they think that their religion is valid. But of course, if they come to the conclusion that their religion is no longer valid, they have to, it is again their duty to change their religion and to be converted to whatever they think as valid. Now, another conclusion, another major consequence which I would like to draw from the idea of religious pluralism, which is not theological. So far I have been a theologian, but now I would like to be a statesman, a politician for a very short time, and then of course I will terminate all this and stop the talking and invite a respectable audience to put forward their observations. Now, for a very short moment, let us think politically. Now, in a religious society such as ours in Iran, and there are many religious societies still in the third, so-called third world. In a religious society, politics is inevitably religious. I mean, you may not like it, but it is a fact. People would like perhaps to separate religion from politics, to separate church from state. That is a different issue. But in a religious society, by the logic of the situation, politics and all other aspects of society will become tainted, colored by religion. So the state or politics will become inevitably religious. Now, in a religious society, despotism also will be a religious despotism. And in order to attack the political despotism, you have to attack the religious despotism. That is the formulae. And that is the way to be paved towards democracy. A political despotism in a religious society is based on religious despotism. A political democracy is based on a religious democratic thinking. This is something which some of our intellectuals tend to ignore. They do not seem to be aware, or they do not seem to take this particular point seriously, attentively, that I mean, it is not of a question whether we like religion or not, whether we like a religious society or not, but looking at the facts, we have to accept the idea that in a deeply religious society, all other affairs and respects and attributes of the society unavoidably will become religious, somehow or other, especially the politics of the society. Now, the despotism, as I said, stems from religious despotism. Therefore, in order to have a politically pluralistic society, you have to have a religious pluralism. The idea of religious pluralism should be fed into the mind of the believers. Once you have got religious pluralism, you will have a political pluralism in terms of democracy, in terms of different political parties, tolerance, and all other consequences of pluralism. So these two go together. These two go hand in hand. In order to crush the political despotism, you have to crush religious despotism. In order to have a political pluralism, you have to have a religious pluralism. Therefore, those theological arguments, which are quite valid, important, and strong in a theological sense of the word, they have got their own political fruits. They have got their own political fruits in the domain of politics and in a religious society. Of course, if you have got a secular society, that is a different story, and there you have to have perhaps different formulation, different solutions for your problems. But in a religious society, everything actually goes through religion and religious feelings and beliefs, and if you correct your understanding of religion and correct understanding of the believers of religion, if you modify it, if you reform it, if you base it on the idea of pluralism and the rest, then you will have your desirable political system. And this will be the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. I am looking forward to it.
I'm going to ask the first question. My privilege. Who is to say what is a religious society? Or whether a society is a religious society or not?
Well, there is no authority. This is an experimental, actually, issue. It is not something to be decided upon by mere in Christian societies. The criterion is the number of the churchgoers and things like that. In societies such as ours, of course, going to mosque is not a strong criterion. I think, and I suppose myself, a believer, a devout believer, but maybe in 10 years I do not turn up in mosque, I mean even twice. So that is not the strong criterion. Therefore, we have to find some other things. I think when you look at the schools, you look at universities, look at mosques, look at the legislation of the country, look at the parliament. In these places, I mean, you can find that the decision makings, the judgments of the people, the behavior of the people are being decided by religion and religious thinking or not. I am more familiar with our own society, our own country, and I am sure that we can consider the Iranian society as a deeply religious society. This I say it from my first-hand experience. I have got widespread connections with the students, with laymen, with different people in towns, in villages and everywhere, and I think still religion has got a very strong hold on our people. And the issue or the idea of secularism is not an idea which has got a sure foot in our society. This is the thing now. In 10 years' time, in 50 years' time, nobody know it. So there is no authority. It is an experimental question, and it has to be decided upon through field investigations. And this kind of field investigation, I think I have done to some extent, and this is my answer.
Thank you very much. There's a question right in the back there. So.
Our ideas with the Islamic belief that the Prophet was the last messenger, the last Prophet. And therefore, is it left for the future generations to the different interpretations of those and those